There's an old saying in the Army, the longest march always begins with the first step. By the same token, the greatest battle usually begins with one word. One simple code word which becomes the symbol of the whole operation. So it happens that the battle for New Britain begins with the word overpower. The secret Army code word. And it means that at a certain time, at a certain place, American troops will land on the Jap-held island of New Britain. It's a tough island to crack. The Japs gave it plenty of teeth. A powerful naval base at Rabaul, good airstrips, and over 100,000 troops spotted in different places and expecting a visit. And besides Japs, there's always the jungle. Never before in history has a large-scale war been fought on such difficult battlefields. Looks pretty, doesn't it? Pretty as a picture in a pre-war travel advertisement. But how is it to live in? Ask Joe Soldier. A jungle-clad paradise crawling with bugs, snakes, and lizards, spiders. Ask him about sweating out a march through blazing equatorial heat. Ask him about the smell, that wet stench of the jungle. Yes, and don't let him forget to mention those tropical sunsets, bringing the malarial mosquito.
An attack is prepared in staging areas where the men are rehearsed for the job. Quietly, secretly, systematically, men and equipment start moving into 3 separate areas along this coast. This is done so there'll be no large concentration of troops in any one spot to tip off the plan. A task force is a miniature army, tailored for a particular job. This one consists of a regiment from Texas, a battalion of artillery and service troops, quartermasters, signal corps, engineers, and medicos. They know what this staging area means. A jumping-off place for something big. Out here, housekeeping starts from the ground up. You pick yourself a place and start chopping. It used to be hard work mowing the lawn on Sunday afternoons. Try mowing kunai grass with a machete. Meantime, a couple of 100 miles to the north, the second task force marches into their staging area to prepare for their part in the operations. These men have seen something of jungle fighting. They're Marines, and they cut their teeth on Guadalcanal. In the third staging area, it's more Marines, more guns, more shells, more thorns to press into the side of Tojo's Island of New Britain. On back of the men come the trucks, the half-tons, the jeeps, the bulldozers, a community on wheels, carrying the 1,001 needs of a task force. Food for bellies and gun barrels, canvas for cover, wires for communication, the tools of a jungle army.
When the lot is cleared, you stretch out your house. Doesn't take long. Just fasten the ceiling, get under the center pole, and hoist. And leave plenty of slack on those ropes. The first rain will do the tightening. Nudging out elbow room in this wilderness and getting your stuff across swamps and streams is pretty rugged. But it's good practice for jungle warfare. Bridges need plenty of attention. Mountain rains can swell these streams to torrents that can drown a truck. And transportation is important out here. When it comes to jungle construction, you can't beat a fuzzy wuzzy. Uncle Sam has thousands on his payroll. The foreman checks everything. Thatched roofs keep out most of the rain, some of the heat, and none of the bugs. And don't think these builders don't know the value of money. Money will buy a pig, and a pig can be exchanged for a wife. Here's where that Boy Scout training comes in handy. And this lad is an awfully tough critic.
Outfits sprawl over a staging area for miles. It's a signal corps job to tie them together with telephone lines. Not much like hometown telephone poles, but the technique of climbing them hasn't changed a bit. The nerves run back to the brain. This switchboard at headquarters will handle 1,000 calls a day. Orders, reports, requests, instructions to field phones out where the jungle begins.
When a Jeep or a truck is issued to a driver, that's his baby, and he keeps it clean. The old swimming hole, jungle style. It's the bath, shower, and laundry combined. First scrub your skin, then scrub the clothes you just took off. This may not be your favorite cafeteria, but it's the only one handy right now. And it's the quartermaster's job to see that the army is fed. There's a mess of vitamins that'll pad your ribs, but don't get us wrong. We still like home cooking. These are the canvas cities that Joe Soldier built out of jungle and kunai grass. Like their forefathers, these troops have tamed a corner of wilderness into a temporary home. 5:45, and the day begins. A helmet makes a swell wash basin, and you can't do this with a family sink. And now to work. It begins with the task force commander giving the details of the job to the men who are going to do it.
There will be 2 landings on New Britain. The first at Arroway, to divert the Japs from the main landing a few days later at Cape Gloucester. Arroway is a peninsula. A small force will make a landing up here in the enemy's rear, they hope, and move down the peninsula to join with the main forces, who will land along here. Complete surprise is the main thing.
Hit fast and hard. Gain a foothold before the Japs can move a large force against you. That's what unit leaders are telling them. A soldier has to know what he's supposed to do, where he's supposed to do it, and why. And this is the time to check your weapons. A gun jam on a beachhead might happen only once. The same thing is going on up in the Marine staging area. Weapons, equipment, and the men themselves get a personal once-over. Anti-aircraft